866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. AMP2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.tv.
Want to do something fun the first Monday evening each month and have a psychic reading too? Then join me, Top 100 Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, for the Psychic Gallery. You'll de-stress, refresh, laugh, play with energy, and have your questions answered. Don't miss out. The Psychic Gallery with Halley Elise. Go to HalleyElise.com for more information. That's HalleyElise.com.
I'm a third grade teacher.
I'm a school bus driver.
I am a parent.
I am a teacher's aide, and I agree to be identified
As a caring adult who pledges to help bullied students.
I will listen carefully to all students who seek my help.
and act on their behalf.
to put an immediate stop to bullying.
I will work with other caring adults to create a safe
Learning environment for all the students in my school.
In my school.
In my school.
in my school.
I'm Dennis Van Rokel, president of the National Education Association. Help us create safe, bully-free learning environments for all students. One caring adult can make all the difference. Be that adult and take the pledge at NEA.org/bullyfree. Adults have the power to stop bullying in our schools.
It starts with me.
It starts with me.
It starts with me.
It starts with me.
Bully-free. It starts with me.
Visit NEA.org/bullyfree. A message from the National Education Association.
This is Talk 1470. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Halley Elise Show, featuring your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise. She is an author, psychic, and media personality, and has been listed as one of the top 100 psychics in America. Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise shares the spiritual, metaphysical, holistic, and magical powers of the universe. Follow Halley on her website at HalleyElise.com, and all her shows can be seen via live stream video. Now, here's your host, Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in this evening. As always, when I have a guest, I am excited and delighted, and I'll introduce you in just a moment. Wanted to remind everyone that the first Monday of the month is the Psychic Gallery, and February's gallery was just amazing. I know we're still in February, but it was the first of the month, and we had an amazing turnout, some lovely people, and everyone had a great time. So if you've not yet made it to the Psychic Gallery, and you're wondering, what on earth? Take a look at the website, HalleyElise.com. You'll get all the information. Also, if you're online, you can purchase tickets and save $5, which is kind of nice. That is till the price changes. It's my standing joke now for 2 months almost. My webmaster was supposed to make some changes for the new year, and it's not been done yet. So as long as the old prices are on, you're making out like a bandit, which is kind of fun. So there you go. As to the Facebook presence, I'm looking at kind of taking things and, if you will, making them a little bit more compact. So if you're following me on the Halley Elise page, as in the profile page, I'm not sure if I'm keeping that. I would just suggest that, well, take a look at what else is there, because we have the webpage, which is HalleyElise.com. We have the group page, which is Psychic Stories with Halley Elise. We have, what else? The Psychic Gallery. As you can see, a lot. And what I was thinking is possibly condensing. So there's maybe 2-3 pages together. My point being, take a look at the Facebook pages. If you feel like you want to continue following, just let me know. Drop me a little line in the inbox on Facebook. And I think they're calling it a PM now for private message, where originally it was just, the mailbox on Facebook. Everything changes. So there you go. What else can I tell you? Oh, I mentioned about an event that we were planning, my cohort and I, over at the office. We've decided to delay that till April, possibly a little later, but we're looking at April. Some of the guest speakers that we wanted and the folks that were coming in just didn't have the availability that we needed, and so we're trying to work around everyone's schedule. And I think that's it for the moment, other than, obviously, if you want to stay in touch, you can reach me at the website, halleyelise.com. You can go on Facebook, or you can always Google. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's been showing up lately. The phone has been ringing off the wall with lovely invitations to different events. And truly, it's such a pleasure to be able to speak with groups of people. It really makes my heart happy. So there you go. Now, without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about our guest this evening. She is Reverend Dr. Ed Veach. She's going to laugh at me in a moment trying to say the name correctly. But she is an activator and a healer, and someone who helps you really understand your life and your purpose. In her book, which is You're Not Going Crazy, if I'm saying that correctly. Yes, excuse me. You're Not Crazy, You're Awakening. She helps you with your journey to discovering your soul purpose, to having a more joyful and more abundant life. So without further ado, are you there, Dr. Ed Veach? Hello.
Having me on.
You're
Hello.
there. Hi.
Yes.
Okay, just
Hi.
checking to see if you were with us.
I'm still here.
Okay, good. And we have a picture of you up on the screen so everybody can see you, those who are watching the live feed, and otherwise we have you on the air. So I was reading your book and I was kind of giggling to myself because a lot of the content is content that has been shared for the longest time. And yet the way that you phrase things, the way that you share is very simple. So if someone is a novice, if they are first learning about their own awakening, their own growth, it's very easy for them to get it. It's not complicated. It's not verbose. It really is to the point. So share a little bit about your writing the book, because I know within the book itself, initially you said that wasn't even your intention.
Exactly. And so God is simple, right?
Yes.
Because God wants us all to get it. Source wants us all to get it, and Source wants us all to expand. So any complex idea just wouldn't make sense. And so, it was never my idea to write a book. But as this process of awakening as an adult began for me, I was at a workshop in Sedona, and the stranger walked up to me and said, "Are you writing yet?" And I said, "No, I don't write." And so months later, I'm at another event here in Vegas, and someone approaches me yet again and says, "They want you to know you are loved. Are you writing?" And I said, "Well, thank them." Right? Thanks,
right.
God. Thanks, guys. And then, no, I don't write. I'm not writing. And so, again, 3 times as a charm, I'm introduced to this person who channels Michael. And Michael comes on the phone, comes online to the person,
right,
and says, "It is within your blueprint you are to write." And I said, "What am I writing about, Archangel Michael?" And he said, "You will know." And then that's when all the experiences started happening. I'm like, "Gotcha."
I love it.
So then I started journaling everything, and before I knew it, there you have it. So it leads up to, my experiences from childhood,
right,
and then my light body moving into me, September of 2012, and what that journey looks and feels like. Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful because a lot of times when this type of book is written, people just get, if you will, orders to live their life a certain way, to follow certain patterns, and, everything's going to happen perfectly. With your sharing your personal experiences, they can relate and understand a little better of how the transformation came about. I mean, you do definitely state within your discourse that it is not just an instantaneous type of thing, that it is important to raise your vibration and frequency, to understand what that means, and that each occurrence, each experience helps to raise you further if that's what you want. And I think that's where the crux of it is, because we have to determine, we still have free will, even though it's our, let's say, soul's purpose to grow and to continue expanding and ascending. We can choose not to. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Absolutely. So, the reality of it is this awakening that everyone is talking about, it seems to be the catchphrase, right? Awakening and ascension.
Absolutely.
And it really, in my experience as I'm going through it, is a 3-part or three phases to it. And the first is transmutation. And so we have this idea, okay, there's something more, and we have to transmute. And so as we're moving through these stages of consciousness, the first part is transmuting, letting go, the fear, the guilt, the shame, the pain, the doubt, the suffering, all of these things that we have taken on lifetime after lifetime, we have to release. So as we do that, we then go into that second stage, which is transformation. And now that's the fun stage. That's when we start to pulse and vibrate with same colors. We might hear, like I did, the inside voices and the outside voices. And literally we are transforming. But more importantly, we are raising our consciousness. We are then raising our energy, our frequency, our vibration. And as we're able to sustain higher levels, higher frequencies, we then can move into that third stage, transfiguration, I call it, where your light body, which is that glue, that multidimensional vehicle that will move into you, activate, thus allowing then your I am presence to step into you, right? And so it's your choice. It's free will. It's all about free will. And yes, your soul wants you to awaken if it's your path in this lifetime, because not everyone will in this lifetime.
Exactly.
Some still have lots of life lessons to get, and that's fine. Nothing is better than the other. All roads eventually lead home.
Exactly.
And so you have a choice. But if you say yes to that, then it's about accepting responsibility that you are the creator of your experiences, and we no longer are blaming outside, but we start to move to that space of our heart. We start to understand that as I think it, so I am. So if I'm having positive thoughts, they're going to lead me to positive emotions and a positive result. If I'm having negative thoughts, it's going to lead me to negative emotions, having a negative result. So I have to become conscious in this awakening, and I have to know that I am fully present. And what does it look like for me?
Right, and that's it, where that individual steps in. Now, it's interesting because throughout the book you make reference to your team, your guides. You talk a lot about multidimensional beings, other planets, dimensions, things that we'll say the average person, even though it's more acceptable today to understand the spiritual world, they haven't quite fully grasped. And then you mentioned a moment ago Archangel Michael. So in your take on things, do you feel that each person comes into the world with not only, we'll say, guides, but also angels that are by their sides? Or do you feel that it's more a matter of they come into this world with perhaps just a couple of entities guiding them, and as they expand, they open up to others?
So, that's an interesting question. So, goodness gracious. Okay. I remember an experience, because I want to make sure, this is an important question. One of the experiences I had, I found myself in the Bardo realm, in between lifetimes, sitting there writing in my Akashic records.
Right.
And sitting on either side of me were two of those particular guides. When I was finished writing, three of us got up. We walked over to the edge. I looked down, and there was my mom about to give birth to me. Into the room I went, and these particular guides came with me. So I knew that they would be with me. Of course, on this side you forget.
Right.
And so there are junctures that you get to, and everything happens in waves. And so I'll never forget the very first guide that showed up wanting to teach me. He would ring a particular bell, and I would wake in the wee hours of the morning, to go to my safe place, and there he would be. And that guide, that teacher, lasted for about a year, and then another came, and then another. And so, yes, we have some that are with us from birth. We have some that are with us every incarnation. And then as we are expanding and growing, then we have those guides, be they, oh my goodness, and as you know, right. They could be from the angelic realm. They can be, there's a hierarchy. So Christ did extraterrestrials. There's all sorts of things and beings that will show up when you're ready, based on where you are vibrationally speaking. And so, it's a process, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But what's interesting is, depending, and it's funny because I literally just had this conversation yesterday with a client. Depending on what your religious background is, your heritage, your culture, your belief system is going to be different. than, let's say, the next person. You within your book, you talk about the Bible, and you talk about Christ consciousness, and you talk about Christ, where somebody else might talk about the Torah and the Talmud. And, you might look at somebody else who talks about Muhammad. And yet what we find is there's a corollary between all the different religions and all the different cultures delivering a very similar message.
All religions in the same house, just a different room.
Exactly. So viewpoint is different. And I just wanted to share that so that anybody reading your book understands that you're not saying there is just one way to perceive. There is a multitude of ways to perceive.
Absolutely. We don't care the name for creator.
Right.
Creator, source, Father, Mother, God. It doesn't matter. And once you really move through the process of awakening, you understand that names don't matter.
Correct.
It's
Edwidge, we have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the Halley Elise Show. Thank you. Want to do something fun the first Monday evening each month and have a psychic reading too? Then join me, Top 100 Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, for the Psychic Gallery. You'll de-stress, refresh, laugh, play with energy, and have your questions answered. Don't miss out. The Psychic Gallery with Halley Elise. Go to HalleyElise.com for more information. That's HalleyElise.com.
You're listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, and she invites you to visit her website for more information about all that she does at HalleyElise.com. Now, back to your host, Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, I have the lovely Dr. Reverend, I've got it backwards, Reverend Dr. Edwidge on the line. She wrote the book, You're Not Crazy, You're Awakening. And we're talking about the process. And prior to break, just before, we were saying about that there are different viewpoints. And I think you put it so succinctly when you said that all religions are in the same house, but different rooms.
Mm-hmm. And so they all lead home, don't they?
Exactly. Exactly. I usually give the allegory that you're on a road and you come to a point where there's a path on the right and a path on the left, and yet you see the end of the road at the opposite end there, and they both converge. So it's just a matter of which you choose to take.
Yeah, you can take the straight, direct path, or you can get off it and do cartwheels, jump into the river, go a little more backwards.
Exactly.
And it's the journey. That's what this is all about, the journey. And how do you choose to see yourself on your path to your awakening and your expansion?
Right. Now, for the individual who doesn't quite understand why it's necessary to raise vibration and how it is that if you alter your diet, that can help shift that energy, and why it's important to have pure water. Would you talk on that a bit, please?
So we are electrical. The one thing I have found receiving or getting my light body, I tell you, the day my light body moved in, it was about a 10-hour process, and I felt like I was being electrocuted. So
that's always fun.
We are very electrical. So if we understand that, that's a high-frequency energy, and everything is energy. We are 99% energy, 1% matter. Everything is energy vibrating at a different rate. And so as we are wanting to increase that vibration, that frequency, because those aspects of the light body, our I am presence, are certainly higher frequency aspects of self. So we have to raise our vibration, raise our frequency. And so everything that we eat, everything that's around us has an energy.
Correct.
So imagine that dead food would be a lower vibration, a lower energy than something that's alive, something that's electrical.
Sure.
And so even water in a plastic bottle that's been sitting on the shelf for a couple of weeks, and maybe even months,
right,
certainly it does not have the living properties that, say, fresh spring water or even alkaline water would have.
Right.
So all of those things will have an impact on you if you're wanting to raise your vibration. So it's important then that we become mindful of all that we put into it. This process is body, mind, and spirit.
Exactly.
Not not just meditate, but what are we eating? What are we contemplating? How are we thinking? All of this matters. Are we exercising? Are we taking care of the physical body that eventually goes right along with us, right?
Right.
This is the wonderful thing about it.
The yogis have it down because, they do talk about mind, body, spirit. When you're doing yoga, it's not just about the movement of the body. It has to do with the energy moving through the body. It has to do with replenishing. It has to do with, as you said, mindfulness. And I know that you give a lot of techniques in your book in respect to affirmations, visualization, meditation, shifting diet. And while I'm on this line here, if you would, give out a website or where folks can get a hold of your book, because I think that's kind of important.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So it's available on Amazon. You're Not Crazy, You're Awakening. You can find it on Amazon, but you can also find it on my website as well as other things. And I do sessions and so forth. And that's dredvige.com. And that's simply www.dredwige.com.
Perfect. And I know you also do different programs, classes, that type of thing. Do you do private work as well?
Absolutely. I do private work. It's so very interesting to be able to facilitate that. Literally clearing, calibrating, tweaking neurons, turning on DNA, releasing, letting go of things, and bringing in light bodies. That's the best part when I see a light body ready to come in. Wow, is that awesome. And so, yes, I have clients all around the world because all of my work is done online, whether it be on the computer through Skype or my conference line. So it's easy to reach out to me and book a session.
So you're very accessible.
Well. Yep.
Okay, and they also, our listeners and our viewers, they can find that on your website as well, correct? How to contact you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you would give out your website again, I just want to make sure that they hear it correctly because you have a lovely first name, but it's different. And I want to make sure everybody is able to grasp it.
So that is www.dredvige, and that's D-R-E-D like David, WIGE.com.
Perfect. Okay. So this way, at least they have.
My grandmother. My father was from Martinique, the French West Indies, and so hence the name Edwige.
Got it. Well, it's beautiful. Like I said, though, I just didn't want to say it incorrectly, so I figured I'd let you share the information. Makes it easier. Okay, so going back to the different modalities that you can use to raise your vibration frequency, it's interesting because I was reading about how you were at one point you were levitating through different experiences. You were finding your entire body shaking, so to speak. And I know many people, including myself, that when I meditate, when I'm in the vicinity of a crystal bowl or lots of crystals, I automatically go into that vibratory state, and you could feel it. It's almost as if you're moving within yourself, but there's a flow. It's not an discomfort. And that's one of the things that you mentioned quite a few times in your writing, that you were observing, you were allowing. And that's one of the things that I teach my students as well. There shouldn't be a criticism. You shouldn't be coming from thought. You should be just allowing, observing, not being fearful. So how do you suggest that our listeners and viewers will say take an easy route to do that? Meaning many different modalities have different effects on different people. Some are going to work better than others. What would you say would be your top 3 that you can share?
Wow, the top 3 modalities. Well, of course, right out the gate, we have to say meditation.
Yes.
It is such a wonderful practice. And we don't have to meditate for hours upon hours. If it's simply 10 minutes a day of getting quiet and just allowing that energy, that connection. I'll never forget the first time the all-knowing, all-seeing eye was looking back at me. I was so excited to be able to reach the void and then to see that, right? So definitely meditation is a wonderful tool to have. And as you expand, you become the meditation. So then it's not like you even have to go and sit for that 20 minutes, that hour, or whatever.
Sure.
But you move into that space and that grace and that energy of it's all about that. Another one is breathing. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to master chronic breathing, that 3-part breath.
Yes.
That breath will take you into the void so quickly and also clear the electrical circuitry of who you are, your body, because, again, energy is electrical. And so you want to be able to do that and clear. So that's another one that's extremely important. The other modality, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily a modality, but it's something that I think is extremely important on this path of awakening, and that's getting off autopilot. You have to stop having the same old thoughts thinking they're going to lead you in a new and better direction. We have to, this thing of awakening is all about doing it consciously. And we have to begin to be aware of our thoughts and in every moment what those thoughts are creating. And so, yes, you have to get off autopilot. You have to begin to be aware of where your thoughts are taking you, emotionally speaking. And if you like where it's leading you, okay, fine, continue. But if you don't, then become mindful, learn how to cancel and clear. Because honestly, there are two ways of awakening. You have that near-death experience. You go into the light. I'm awake. Or
instantaneous.
Yeah, I like that. Had a car accident in 2004, right?
Right.
Or you have to reprogram your subconscious, that little reptilian brain that says it's running the show and it's got it handled.
Correct.
Not so much.
So in your personal take on things, because you share that it's not an instantaneous, as you just said, it can be, if you have an NDE, that would obviously move things along. But what would you say to the average person as far as length of time for them to really get mindful? Because you know, and I know that we can say we're being positive, and we know that what we focus on expands, but it's difficult to break customary habits. And science has said that it takes 21 days at least for us to shift a pattern. So for that average person who, let's say, has been doing their thing for 50 years, could you tell them as far as the time limit in respect to their focus? Because sometimes people get discouraged if they don't feel they have enough time.
Well, quite honestly, that's why there are people like yourself and myself, because we can energetically help to clear that block, that resistance that is holding someone back, because it may be something that they can't actually clear themselves, right?
Yes.
And so they need that assistance in helping to clear whatever that looks like. For an example, today in a session, someone had this addiction to sugar, and it's only been recent since she is awakening, only in the last 2 or 3 years. And so as I tapped into that, turns out that in a previous lifetime, she held a sugar plantation. Wow. Think about all of that.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And so there were some things karmically that needed to be addressed and cleared. And boy, did it just shift that energy for her. And
Beautiful.
So that's one part of it. We really have to understand that it's at our soul's pace. The wonderful thing about it,
believe it or not, that is our time. Can you imagine? So fast. Okay.
Yes.
Quickly, if you will, share your web address one more time for us.
Okay, www.dredwige, that's DREDWIGE.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being on with us. I think we're going to need a double session next time. Take good care. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week on the Halley Elise Show. Bye-bye.
Be enchanted and delighted. Connect each week here on WNN for the Halley Elise Show. Also on Facebook and at HalleyElise.com. Thanks for tuning in.